Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. So in honor of For Rent coming out, I decided to make some townhouses. And now I did make these before it came out, so I don't show like adding that they're their own units, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna jump into the build and we'll go through it. I started off, so I built this inside of the Growing Together pack. I really like the world that it comes with. And honestly, I thought it would be kind of cool to put it on these like horizontal, very rectangular lots. I mean, they're all rectangular, but this one's a lot longer. It's a 30 by 20 lot. It has two units. Each one is 3 bedrooms, which is pretty nice. I was able to fit 3 bedrooms. They each have their own porch, and there are two shared areas. So this isn't using a ton of packs. I didn't want there to be a ton of packs in this build. And like I said, I did build this before I really knew anything about it. So I didn't know how it would work. I waited to post for a little bit because I wanted this video to be my next one because I really like this build. You'll see why at the very end. It's like one of my favorite ones I've done so far. But it is all fully playable. I fully tested it. There's a laundry room, which is that middle room right there. But honestly, you don't really need to have the laundry day stuff to get use out of this build. It's only using Growing Together and For Rent and Laundry Day, as far as I'm aware. There's only 3 or 4, and I think I limited it to 2 expansions, so it shouldn't be awful. But honestly, you should be able to use this build regardless, even if you don't have all the packs. All of the critical stuff, as long as you have For Rent, is there. You don't need to worry about anything like that. You'll just have to make a different like shared area, and that's pretty much about it. But the weird thing I've noticed about this build, and I don't know if it's a For Rent glitch or if it's like a game issue. I'm not really sure. I've tried it on a couple different lots, but there are stairs that go to the top, and for some reason, the Sims that live in the unit next to the one if you're living in it, they like walk through your house to get up to the roof. Like apparently can't access it. I've moved it, and I don't know. It's really not a big deal, to be honest with you, because I think it's just my game. I don't think it's a recurring thing. But if you guys play with this, let me know if that's an issue you're having, and I'll see what I can do to fix it. However, I know that there's been a lot of controversy about For Rent. And look, I've had a really terrible landlord before too. So I am not like the biggest landlord pro person. I'm really not pro landlord, but I do really like this pack. I like the gameplay. I know there's been a lot of issues. People are saying they're not getting paid. I had that issue at first, but I found out it was really just because of my mods. When they did the update, it broke a lot of stuff. It broke a lot of mods, and I had to wait for those updates to come out. And they're really quick about it, most of them. And as always, my mods that I use in my builds and in my gameplay are linked in my description below, where you can just go and get the latest version. And if it's not, please let me know so I can change it. But I know there's been a lot of people that aren't getting paid, and I know that there's a lot of like glitching that's happening. I have not experienced a lot of the problems that I feel like a lot of people are in this expansion. The rent getting paid is weird because I didn't initially start it off like that when I put this into a different save. And it's you don't get paid when you think you're going to get paid because there's like a weird grace period, and I don't get paid until after their grace period is over. So like I think they ended up starting their things on a Monday or something like that, maybe a Tuesday, and then I have it set for every 7 days. I haven't tested different day amounts because when they came out with it, I've built a couple. Like I have another build that I'm working on right now that I've been playing with, and to make sure that that's good with the pack. So there's another build coming, and it's 6 units, which is the max you can have without cheats. And right now I'm kind of trying to focus on stuff that everybody can play with, or if you don't have a ton of packs, because I know they're expensive, and trust me, I don't like paying for them either. I use CD keys. I'm not sponsored by them, but CD keys offers them to you at a discounted price. I've never had a problem before using CD keys, and I can normally get a couple dollars off, and honestly every dollar counts. So check out CD keys. I'm not sponsored by them. I just use them to get expansions and other games and stuff when I'm broke, because I'm broke, who's not in this economy. But anyways, back to the build. I know people are having an issue with For Rent not getting paid in anything. I am getting paid. I get paid every week on a Wednesday for some reason in the game. I don't have like there's not a lot of tenant stuff that happens, and maybe it's because I've done a lot of them and they just don't recur very often. But there's definitely something, I'm not sure what it is that's off about the pack, but I genuinely am having fun with it. There is something like it seems like the characters aren't there's a lot of loading screens. That's frustrating. But the characters also don't always respect the shared areas, it seems like. And I'm not sure if that's a code issue or if that's a how I built this issue, because like I said, I did build this before the pack came out and even before the update came out before the pack. So there's a very good chance that some of this build might be a little bit glitched, but I have not had any problems. Like once I placed it after for rent and everything, I think it was just an issue because I had it in that save before before the update came out. So maybe that's what happened. I don't really know, but I have not had any issues, and I've been playing with it for a while. I've played with this one build and lived in it for about 10 hours of real life time. So I would say that it's a pretty solid build. There's really nothing to worry about unless you don't want shared spaces. There are two shared spaces in this, and it's the little hallway that like connects the two apartments, and that's where all the laundry stuff is at. And then you have the upstairs, like the very, very top floor. There's no roofing on the very top, and it's just like all green. And it has a grill, and it's got a bunch of different stuff up there. I, that's a shared space. Now, I think that there's something weird when the shared space is above maybe what they live at. I don't really know. I'm not super sure. It's really weird. And like I said, it could very well just be the save file that I have it in because I did put it in another save and played in it a little bit, and I didn't have a ton of problems. I didn't even really have any, to be quite honest with you. So I think it's fine. I've play tested it extensively, and I think I'm just psyching myself out and thinking that it's bad. But like I said, the 4 expansion overall, in my opinion, is definitely worth the money, even paying at full price, because it does add a whole nother level of gameplay. Like, I'm building apartments and townhouses right now that are meant for you to rent out because it's for rent. But I do want to do builds, and I have ideas for builds that are going to be more just for families, where like maybe we do one that has like an apartment style thing, right? You got the building with two apartments in it, and then you have like a mother-in-law suite or something, or maybe it's just two houses that are separated with like a guest house in the back or something like that. I know a lot of people want to play with it like that. I also really just enjoy the apartment gameplay though. Like the different events that can happen. And sure, the loading screens are really annoying, but I 100% understand why they did it. And honestly, can't be upset about it because they were just trying to make sure that the game was optimized for everybody. And it is, but it isn't. Like there's like some people aren't getting paid, and sometimes it doesn't always like save the lots. And there's little things. I've had such limited issues that it's just like Home Chef Hustle, in my opinion. I didn't have hardly any issues with Home Chef Hustle other than like sometimes they just walk away in the middle of a sale, which was frustrating. But like in For Rent, they're not just walking away. Like I'm getting paid. Like I'm really not experiencing a ton of problems. So I have a feeling that some of these creators are not maybe updating their mods, or maybe they are and they're still having these problems and it's an actual game issue. But I have a hard time almost believing it because I'm not having a lot of the same issues that people are having because I'm not really being hindered in my gameplay at all when I play with Format. And he owns my character I play with has 3 different apartment complexes, the smallest one being this. So like I can't complain about it. I'm not having problems. I don't know why people are. Um but I'm not having any issues. I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun playing with For Rent. Now, these townhouses have basically the same style to them, except the colors, just to try and make building a little bit easier. I did build. Oh, I did use Home Chef Hustle. I am so sorry, I forgot about that pack. I did use that for the kitchens because they have like the nicest appliances in my opinion, and everything fits together and looks nice. And there's some good color swatches in it, that's another game pack I would definitely recommend you pick up if you don't have it. My Sims always master the cooking skills and stuff because it's like necessary for for your Sims to be alive, I guess. So yeah, I mean the kitchens were weird. One of them is a black tone house entirely, which is the one you're seeing right now, and then the other one's just all white. So white and yellow, I think, was the color scheme I went with. This one's a darker, more like I was kind of thinking if you've ever watched House and his apartment he lives in, I was kind of like trying to channel that because that's kind of what it was reminding me of as I was building it. Was it looked like that? It looked like that place. It looked like his apartment. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe that would be like a fun vibe to replicate. But I obviously wanted to use townhouses because of the new expansion. And like I said, this video is late literally just because I was waiting for more information about For Rent. And I needed to play test it with the For Rent expansion before I could upload it. Also, those bowls, I'm going to remove them before uploading this to the gallery. Don't use them. I thought that I could place it as debug to like fill the shelves. You can't. They're dirty apparently and they get gross. I didn't know that. I thought it was just like the cups where you could just put the cups and they don't like spoil or whatever and your Sims don't care about it, but I kept getting this like unpleasant surroundings pop up and I was getting so frustrated with it. And then I realized the bowls were stinky the entire time and I had no idea. I'm going to go through and remove them. So like don't worry, that is not going to cause an issue for your Sims. I'm going to go through and fix it before it gets uploaded. But Oh my god, I was so frustrated. The windows were also kind of a tough one because I wish you could resize windows because I love those windows. They're just too big. And I wish that they were just one size smaller because I don't like being able to see the back of the counters from the outside of the window, which it's not a big deal because your Sims don't really recognize windows very much. They kind of see them as a wall. So it's really not a big deal. But to me, I wanted it to look nicer. You know what I mean? I wanted it to look good. Um, yeah, and then I put some bookshelves. There's a little reading area with a TV and a fireplace. It's a super cozy lot. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. And if you have seasons, I ended up modifying this build a little bit in my personal save to have because I have seasons, and seasons is another great expansion pack. And they come with like essentially window units. They're not really window units, they're the wall units and like radiators, and all of that syncs up with the thermostat, and your Sims get moodlets. Like positive moodlets based on those times, or negative ones based on if you have like the wrong temperature. Like in the summer, one of my Sims autonomously set it to be like heat. So they were all uncomfortable and like sweating, and they had like a new moodlet. So that was kind of fun to see. I love getting a little new moodlet and seeing like what they come up with. That's always super fun. So just be aware you can play with this with seasons, and it's actually pretty fun. The seasons gameplay interactions cool. Even the pet stuff is really cool. This is like turned into like my unofficial review of the For Rent expansion pack. But I'm not gonna lie, it's a great pack. I know people are having problems with it, but I have not had any. I've had smooth sailing. It's been fun. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm still actively playing it. Like it's not something I plan on ever not playing with. It's definitely becoming part of my every save type of play gameplay mechanic. Honestly, I thought it was going to be broken. Everyone in early access was having a lot of problems, and I know people still do, but I'm not, and I'm having fun, and I don't want it to change. The only difference between these two builds in this townhouse is going to be this side that I'm working on right now. I specifically made for a family. The other side was just made for my sim to live in. So like it has some of the same elements, it's just not as decorated. I also find that I like to leave the builds, like I'll put decorations obviously and make it look like you just bought the house, like it's your new house, you know. I don't want to overload the walls with stuff. I don't want to overload the rooms with things. Like I remember before I started like getting into building and just playing the Sims casually, because I didn't like playing The Sims casually and having to spend 7 hours building something and then probably not play with it or only play with it for 20 minutes. And so I had to figure out a way to like get around that. And honestly, going through and not putting as much stuff inside of the build and then just adding as I play has been a lot more fun for me. And I don't know if anyone else, I don't know if you guys play that way, but that's how I like to play. So I'll give everyone the basics. We'll put a computer in pretty much every build. I'll put a TV somewhere. Those are just necessities for me in a Sims game. I know other people play without them, but I personally can't. I like playing with them. My Sims either they sometimes will do the writing career or the programming career or, whatever I decide I wanted to play that time. And I want to be able to have a build that's going to account for as many play styles as possible. And that's kind of, I think, what the goal was here. I did have a very, like, you could see that room is very pink. That was definitely that room, the kids' room, I needed for families. I've only ever played with the rent expansion as well, with like single or just a Sims that only have enough room for two. Never had played with a multiple room lot. So I thought that would be kind of cool. I didn't want to just do the whole like, oh, my family member lives next to me. No, actually, in one of my saves, it was really fun because one of the roommates that moved into that black house next to me in the townhouse, he ended up becoming like my Sim's best friend. And then he ended up just moving into my house anyway, so I could rent it out to a family. Because there's certain limits that the family will have when you go into the screen to set like your rent caps and everything like that. The rooms have a certain amount based on their value, and then the Sims that live there also have a certain budget. You can raise it. It doesn't seem like the budget matters after the first however long the duration of the lease is. But honestly, it's fun. It's super fun. And on the other cool thing too about this pack is it's not just like a for rent pack. You could really run this as hotels because people have been absolutely losing their mind about this with it not being a hotel. And now it's making me think maybe I should go back to that ski lodge that I built and make that a residential rental and turn it into a hotel. I'm just saying, it's an idea. It's a multi like it does spread. It would be kind of cool because there's a bar and I think that would be kind of cool. I didn't really think about it, but you could turn that and then you could set all of the rooms, you could just set the time to like a day. And then it's a hotel or 2 days or 3 days or whatever. But I mean, you could do anything with this pack. It's not just about for residentials. That's how it's marketed, sure. You can do a lot more with it, I think. And I also wanted to test out. I know you can't have a for rent as well as a you can't have the for rent expansion like residential rental lot as well as a business on the same lot because the residential rental functions as a business, if that makes sense. That's kind of how it's coded in the game. So, you know, you got to be, I don't know, it's weird. It's you can't have a business with it. And I want to build a bakery and then live above it. That's like that'd be great. I would love to do that. But it's just really not able. I don't think you can do it unless you take and literally just make it a residential rental and hire people at the counter. That's the only thing I could really think of. I don't know, but I'm just saying, in theory, you could run this with hotels, which is another thing I know a lot of people have asked for from this game. However, we're wrapping up the build. As you can see, it was pretty straightforward. They're basically the same on each side, just with different colors and different swatches of things. One is definitely meant for kids. The other one is kind of barren. It doesn't have a ton on the walls, like maybe some picture frames. But I like to be able to make a build that you guys are able to go into and make your own and add stuff that your Sims are creating. Because I don't feel like a lot of people want to jump into a build that is already have all this stuff, like already has all the stuff on the walls and the pictures, and my vibe is not going to be the same as your vibe, you know what I mean? And I want to be able to build something that gives you all the foundation so you don't feel like you're stuck in build mode for a long time just to play for a little bit, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my goal with this, and I think I accomplished it pretty well. It's adorable. It's got the little fountain. um and like I said, I have it update. I will go and update it before I get it uploaded onto my page. If you want to, over on in the gallery, it's just 56 vans. It's the same there as it is here. And also don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. I'm gonna wrap the video up here though, and I will see y'all in the next video. All right, bye everybody.